Matza for me, matza for you, that. Look how hard me I work, oh God. Now feel maths me work so hard. Confident out there, no one straight A's, no maths in my world, my world.
A favorite sport? Some of you may have said netball or basketball. Do you have a favorite team? Whatever your favorite team is, you support them through thick or thin because you know that sometimes they have good days and sometimes they have bad days. Some days they may score a lot of points. Other days they may not score any at all. But whatever happens, we know that we can't judge how good the team is with just one match or score. We have to use data from a group of performances to figure out how good they really are. Here's a basketball team with a table of their scores for a month played. Which team would you say is the best? We can figure it out by using the average. That is what we'll learn about today. Hi, my name is Mr. Mac. Today we are going to be looking at the three types of averages: mean, mode, and median. We're going to see how we can use them to solve problems and when is the best time to choose which average to use. In this video, you're not just going to be listening. At some points, I am going to ask you to tell me what you think. That is when you will see this thinking emoji pop up. I'll also give you activities to do. Then you will see an exercise emoji pop up. It means that it's time to exercise your brain muscles. So let's get started. When you hear the word data, what comes to your mind? You may be thinking of something to do with information technology because the word is used a lot when we talk about computers. However, data isn't just something in a computer. It really refers to a collection of facts. It could be a collection of numbers, measurements, words, or just descriptions of things. There are two types of data: qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative data is usually descriptive, while quantitative data is usually data about numbers. Regardless of the type though, the average is the best value to describe that set of data. There are different types of averages depending on what we are dealing with. The three types of averages are mean, mode, and median. Let's first start by talking about the mean. The mean is a type of average for quantitative data. That means only data made of numbers can have a mean. We find it by adding up all the numbers we have and dividing that sum by the amount of numbers that we have. For example, our table shows that the Hot Steppers basketball team plays 5 games this month. They score 30 points in game 1, 24 points in game 2, 57 points in game 3, 56 points in game 4, and 43 points in game 5. Their mean score would be equal to 30 added to 24 added to 57 added to 56 added to 43, the sum of their numbers, divided by the number of scores, which is 5. The sum of those numbers is 210, and dividing 210 by 5 is 42. Therefore, the mean score of the Hot Steppers this month is 42 points. One way to think about the mean is as if we are spreading the total of all the points evenly across the 5 games. It's like we are saying that this team scores 42 points each game on average. This animation can help you to get an idea of what the mean really tells us. Now let me give you a chance to try it on your own. Look at the following problem. Anthony says that the Go-Getter has a better basketball team than the Hot Steppers. They played 4 games during the month. They made 78 points in game 1, 12 points in game 2, 18 points in game 3 and 12 points in game 5. Who would you say is the better team, and why or why not? Now, I think I know why Anthony may think the Go-Getters has a better team. They scored 78 points in one game, more points than the Hot Steppers had ever scored. However, if we find the mean score of the Go-Getters, we notice that 78 added to 12, added to 18, added to 12 is 118. And 118 divided by 4 is 29.5. Therefore, the Go-Getters have a mean score of 29.5 points, which is lower than the Hot Steppers' mean score of 42 points. So I would say on average, the Hot Steppers are still the better team. Now, this scenario brought out two benefits of using the mean as an average. For one, we were able to compare two teams even though they didn't play the same amount of games. We can use the average to compare sets of data with a different amount of values. Of course, the more data values, then the more accurate the average will be. Secondly, notice that most of the games that the Go-Getters played scored low, 12, 18, and 12. Probably the day they got 78 points, they played a weak team, or they had a really good day. That is why it is good to use an average to describe a group of data. Here's another problem. The mean temperature during 3 of the days the Go-Getters played their basketball games was 30 degrees Celsius. What could the temperatures for each day have been? I'll give you a minute to think about that. You can pause this video and think. Now, let's see what you probably found. Let's first think about what the mean is. The sum of values divided by the amount. If we're to figure out each value, we would have to know what they added up to, right? Well, if the mean temperature was 30 degrees Celsius for 3 days, then the sum of the temperatures for all the days would be 30 multiplied by 3, or 90 degrees Celsius. All we need to do now is think of 3 possible temperatures that could sum to 90 degrees Celsius. One of the days could have been 30 degrees Celsius, and the other could have been 27 degrees Celsius, and the other day could have been 33 degrees Celsius. And that makes sense, because when we calculate the meaning of those 3 values, then 30 added to 27 added to 33 is 90, and 90 divided by 3 is 30 degrees Celsius. It could also be that all 3 days had a temperature of 30 degrees Celsius. I don't think it's possible though that one day would be 50 degrees, the other 30, and the other 10. If outside was 50 degrees Celsius, we couldn't even go outside, much less to play basketball. Now the next average that we want to talk about is the median. The median is the middle number in a list of numbers that has been sorted in ascending or descending order. For example, let us find the median points of the Hot Peppers basketball team. First, we have to sort them in order. If I were to start with the smallest, it would be from 15, 25, 40, 73, and 92. Next, we find the number in the middle, which is 40. Therefore, the median score of the Hot Peppers basketball team is 40 points. On the other hand, to find the median score of the Vikings team, we would have to order the numbers. The numbers were 42, 35, 24, and 67. So ordering it, it would give us 24, 35, 43, and 67. Now, we don't have a middle number per se. However, 35 and 43 are in the middle of the data set. Therefore, the median would be halfway between those values. We can figure it out by adding them up and dividing by 2. 35 added to 43 is 78, and 78 divided by 2 is 39. Therefore, the median score of the Vikings basketball team is 39 points. Whenever our data set is an even set of numbers, we find the median by adding the two numbers in the middle and dividing by 2. Now it's your turn. Which of these teams has the highest median score? I'm going to give you a minute to think about that. So you can pause this video and give it a try. Now, let's see what you found. After we order the numbers for the hot steppers, the median is going to be 43. At the go-getters, there are 4 values. So the median is going to be between the two values in the middle, 12 and 18. 12 added to 18 is 30, and 30 divided by 2 is 15. Finally, if we order the numbers for Rise Up, the median score is 37. Therefore, the hot steppers have the highest median score of 43 points. The third type of average we want to talk about is the mode. The mode is the value that appears the most in a set of data. It's very easy to identify just by looking at the data set. For example, the modal score for the go-getters is 12 points. On the other hand, the hot steppers do not have a modal score. Do you notice any other teams with a modal score? Yes, Rise Up has a mode. As a matter of fact, it has more than one mode because 2 sets of values appear twice, 25 and 37. Therefore, we say that this data is bimodal, meaning that it has 2 modes. Likewise, a data set with 3 modes is trimodal, and so on. You get the point. Now, look at the following data collected on one of the game days during halftime. Can you identify their modes? In the first data set, we want to know the modal time taken at the bathroom during halftime. The modal time is 2 minutes because that is the time most people spent at the bathroom. In the second data set, we want to know the most popular snack bought at the food court during halftime. We have a record of all the snacks bought. Which one appears the most? That's right, the hot dogs. Therefore, the most popular or average snack chosen was the hot dog. So those are the 3 types of averages: the mean, the mode, and those are the 3 types of averages: the mode, the mean, and the median. We found almost all of them for our table of teams above. Now here's something to think about. Which average would you choose to decide which team is best? Well, each average has its advantages and disadvantages. Can you think of the advantages or disadvantages of the mean? Well, the good thing is that it uses all the data to calculate the average. However, this can also be a disadvantage because that means very small or very large values can distort the results. We saw that with the go-getter scores. Even though most of their games were poor, a high score on a good day brought their mean score up. Can you think of any for the median? Well, one advantage is that very large or very small values do not affect it. However, because of that, it does not take into account the precise value of each piece of data. How about the mode? Well, the mode was the only average we could use to choose the average snack bought at the food court. So the mode can be very useful for data that doesn't deal with numbers, that is qualitative data. However, one disadvantage was that not all data sets have a mode. We could see that for some of the basketball teams. Now let's recap. We found the mean by adding up all the values, then dividing by the amount of values. We found the median by putting a list of numbers in ascending or descending order and choosing the one in the middle. If there is an even number of values in the list, we can add the two numbers in the middle and divide by 2 to get the median. And we found the mode by choosing the value that appeared the most. In some cases, we had more than one modes for our dataset. It was great having you here. See you next time.
Maths for me, maths for you, that.